The galaxy had not seen such a gathering in 1,000 years. The Galactic Summit, a massive event held once every few centuries, was about to begin on the shining orbital station called Harmony Spire. Every known species in the galaxy had sent their best diplomats, scientists, and leaders. They came dressed in colors and symbols of their worlds, speaking proudly of peace, progress, and unity. But this summit was special. This time, a new species had been invited. They called themselves humans, from a small blue planet named Earth, a world that had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. Many in the galaxy thought of them as children, newcomers who had arrived late to the great table of civilization. The council expected them to be polite, quiet, and eager to please. They were wrong. As the alien delegates floated or walked into the massive glass chamber, a sudden shadow crossed the light. The entire station shook gently. A ship had arrived, but not just any ship, a human vessel. And not a small one. Through the giant windows of the summit hall, every alien looked up and gasped. A black, massive shape emerged from the void of space. It was like a blade of darkness cutting across the stars. The hull was smooth and silent, its surface reflecting no light. Around it glimmered faint blue lines, forming strange patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship's name glowed softly on its side, HSS Resolute. For a diplomatic ship, it looked far too powerful. The Vorlons, who hosted the summit, exchanged uneasy glances. Their leader, High Chancellor Serath, tried to smile, but even his silver scales seemed to lose color. "What kind of diplomatic vessel has heavy plasma cannons?" one delegate whispered. Another replied nervously, "Maybe humans decorate their ships that way." They didn't, and everyone knew it. When the airlock doors opened, the humans walked in. Leading them was Admiral Helena Ward, a tall woman with gray streaks in her dark hair and eyes sharp as steel. She wore a simple navy blue uniform, not the robes of a diplomat. Her steps were measured, her voice calm, her presence unshakable. Behind her came a small team, 2 officers in dark uniforms, 1 AI drone that floated quietly beside them, and an ambassador named Dr. Elias Trent, who looked like a teacher more than a politician. As they entered the hall, hundreds of alien eyes followed them. The air grew quiet. Some species bowed slightly, others simply stared. Humans did not bow back. They nodded politely but confidently, standing tall. Chancellor Serath finally spoke, his voice smooth but unsure. "Welcome, people of Earth, to the Galactic Summit. You come at a time of peace and unity. We are honored by your presence." Admiral Ward gave a short nod. "The honor is ours, Chancellor. Humanity is grateful for the invitation." Her voice was calm, but something in it made even the most powerful species sit straighter. It was not arrogance. It was control. The kind of confidence that comes from surviving what others could not. The summit began. Holograms shimmered in the air, showing maps of star systems, trade routes, and resource zones. The Vorlons proposed a universal peace treaty, claiming it would end conflict forever. It sounded beautiful at first: no wars, shared prosperity, equal trade. But as the meeting went on, the true meaning of the treaty became clear. Under the fine words and complex laws, the Vorlons would gain authority over all major hyperlanes. Any planet that wanted to trade would need Vorlons' approval. Any world that disobeyed would lose access to galactic routes. It wasn't peace. It was control. Most of the delegates didn't protest. They had lived too long under Vorlon influence. Their fleets were weak. Their people needed protection. So they smiled and agreed, but the humans did not. Admiral Ward sat silently, her fingers tapping softly on the table. Dr. Trent whispered to her, "If we refuse, they'll see it as defiance." Ward smiled faintly. "They'll see the truth, Doctor." "That's enough." When it was her turn to speak, Ward rose from her seat. Her boots echoed softly in the great hall. "Chancellor Serath," she began, "the proposal is interesting. But I must ask, if this is a treaty for peace, why does it give power to one side only?" The hall grew quiet. Serath tilted his head, his golden eyes narrowing. "Power must rest with the wise, Admiral. It ensures order. Chaos comes when all are equal." Ward's expression didn't change. "On Earth, we learned that peace built on fear never lasts. True peace requires respect, not submission." Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some alien delegates nodded secretly. Others looked away, afraid. Sirath's voice turned cold. Earth is new to our galaxy. You have yet to understand how things are done here. Ward met his gaze evenly. Perhaps. Or perhaps your galaxy has forgotten how to stand without chains. The silence after her words was deep enough to hear the hum of the station's engines. When the meeting ended, the humans returned to their ship. The Vorlons watched them go with forced smiles. Inside the command deck of the HSS Resolute, the mood was calm but alert. Holographic screens floated before the officers, showing energy signatures and fleet positions around the station. "Admiral," said Commander Reyes, a younger officer with sharp eyes. "Vorlons have 6 heavy cruisers in low orbit. They say it's for security." Ward folded her arms. "Security for who?" Reyes shook his head. "Not us, ma'am. They've locked targeting systems on our hull." Another officer turned. "Do we respond?" Ward's voice was steady. "No, we came for peace. Let's see how far they're willing to push it." Dr. Trent looked uneasy. "They expect us to bend, Admiral. They think we're afraid." Ward gave a small smile. "Then they don't know humans very well." Outside, the black ship hung in silence. Every alien eye on the station turned toward it, studying, wondering. A ship that large, that powerful, arriving at a peace summit, what kind of people would do that? The answer was simple. People who had seen too much war to pretend it never existed. That night, or what passed for night on the space station, Admiral Ward stood by the viewing window in her quarters. The stars stretched endlessly before her, distant and silent. Her reflection looked back at her, calm but thoughtful. Humanity had come far. Just 2 centuries ago, they were still bound to one planet. Now they stood among stars, speaking with beings from across the galaxy. But deep inside, Ward knew one truth that time and technology never changed. Peace must be defended, or it dies. Her communicator beeped softly. "Admiral," said the voice of her AI assistant. "Incoming encrypted message from Earth Command." "Play it," she said. A calm voice came through. "Admiral Ward, proceed with caution. Intelligence confirms Vorlon fleets are mobilizing near multiple borders. Do not provoke engagement, but be ready." Ward nodded slowly. "Understood." The message ended. The stars outside seemed a little colder. She whispered to herself, "They wanted diplomacy. Let's hope they still want it tomorrow." The next day, the Vorlons called for a private meeting with the human delegation. The invitation was polite, but the tone was sharp. Ward accepted, though her instincts told her something was wrong. As the humans arrived at the meeting chamber, several Vorlon guards stood outside, too many for a diplomatic session. The doors sealed behind them with a heavy sound. Chancellor Sarath was already waiting. His smile was gone. "Admiral Ward," he said softly. "Earth has spirit, but spirit alone cannot stand against the galaxy. Sign the treaty. Show the Council that humans are wise enough to join peace." Ward met his gaze without blinking. "And if we don't?" Sarath's eyes glowed faintly. "Then your people will learn what defiance costs." Ward looked around the room slowly, then back at him. "Then I hope," she said quietly, "you're ready to learn what humanity truly is." Outside the window, the black ship HSS Resolute drifted silently, waiting. Its engines hummed low like a heartbeat before a storm. Peace had a deadline, and it was about to expire. The next morning, the Galactic Summit resumed. The great chamber shone with light from a nearby star, and the alien delegates took their places once again. But the air felt different today, heavier, tense, uncertain. Everyone remembered what had happened yesterday. The humans had refused to bow, had spoken too directly, too honestly. Many species admired them in secret, though none said it out loud. They had lived too long under Vorlon's shadow. At the center of the chamber, Chancellor Sarath of the Vorlons stood tall, his silver scales reflecting the light. His voice, calm but sharp, filled the room. "Yesterday we spoke of peace," he said. "Today we make it real." Holograms appeared above the center table, showing maps of hundreds of systems and trade lines. Every glowing path connected to the Vorlon capital. The Chancellor smiled. "This treaty," he continued, "will bring unity. One language of law. One center of order. No more chaos." Admiral Helena Ward sat silently among the human delegation, her face calm but her eyes watchful. The humans had studied the treaty overnight. It looked peaceful on the surface, But every clause, every hidden condition, placed the galaxy under Vorland command. Dr. Elias Trent, the human ambassador, leaned toward her and whispered, "If we sign this, Earth will lose freedom before it even begins." Ward nodded slightly. "And if we refuse, they'll call us rebels." Dr. Trent sighed. "We're surrounded by their ships. One wrong word could start a war." Ward's lips curved faintly. "Then let's choose our words carefully." The Chancellor looked directly at Ward. "Admiral, we hope the humans will be wise. You are a young species, but with potential. Join us in peace." Ward rose from her seat. Every eye turned to her. She spoke slowly, every word measured. "Peace is a noble goal, Chancellor. But true peace must be fair to all, not just to those who already have power." The Chancellor's tone grew colder. "You misunderstand, Admiral. The Vorlands are protectors. We maintain balance. Without us, there would be war," Ward replied softly. "And yet your fleets surround half the known galaxy." The Chancellor's tail twitched, a small, irritated motion. "That is security, not conquest." Ward looked around the room, meeting the eyes of the smaller alien races, the ones who had no voice. "And who protects them?" she asked. "When the protectors become the masters." A silence spread across the hall. The words hung there like a storm about to break. One delegate, a small insectoid being named Tavar, spoke in a thin voice. "My world signed your peace. Our people now mine your metals. We were told it was duty, but we cannot say no." The room stirred. The Vorland guards at the back shifted uneasily. Ward turned back to the Chancellor. "You see? Even your allies call it peace. But it is peace with a collar." Sarath's voice dropped to a quiet, dangerous tone. "Enough, human. You forget your place. This summit is for harmony, not insult." Ward didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Humanity remembers what harmony looks like when one side holds the chains. The tension grew. The Chancellor's guard stepped forward slightly, but he raised a hand to stop them. His smile returned, sharp and cold. "Perhaps," he said, "you simply need time to think. We will allow Earth 24 hours to consider. Refuse, and your ships will no longer be welcome in our space." Ward gave a polite nod. "We appreciate the time, Chancellor." Her voice was calm, but inside she knew what that meant. A threat. Back aboard the HSS Resolute, the crew gathered in the command room. The mood was serious. Around the table glowed maps of Vorland space showing fleets in motion. Commander Reyes pointed to red markers. "They've moved ships to intercept positions. If we try to leave orbit, we'll be blocked." Dr. Trent sighed. "They don't want a deal. They want control." Ward stood silent for a long moment, studying the hologram. Then she said, "They've been doing this for centuries. No one stopped them because no one dared." Reyes frowned. "And we're supposed to stop them? With one ship?" Ward's answer was simple. "One ship is enough if the galaxy is watching." The crew exchanged glances. They had seen what the Resolute could do, how much power it carried beneath its armor. But they also knew the cost of war. Humanity had fought too many already. Dr. Trent spoke carefully. "Admiral, if we act rashly, they'll paint us as aggressors. Earth could be isolated," Ward nodded, "which is why we won't fire first." She paused. "But we will be ready if they do." She turned to her communications officer. "Send a secure message to the Summit Council. Humanity will not sign the Vorland Treaty. We believe in peace built on equality. We will not serve under any empire." The officer hesitated. "Ma'am, that will make them furious." Ward looked out the viewing window. The Vorland ships gleamed like knives around the station. "Then let them be furious. Truth often sounds like defiance to those who rule by fear." Hours passed. The galaxy watched. News of the humans' refusal spread faster than light. Across hundreds of worlds, whispers began to rise. The humans said no. They refused the Vorlands. Maybe someone can finally stand against them. Even on small colony worlds far away, slaves in mines and workers in factories heard the message and dared to hope. But hope always brings danger. Inside the Vorland command cruiser orbiting Harmony Spire, Chancellor Sarath's calm mask began to crack. His advisors surrounded him, arguing in sharp voices. "They insulted you in front of the entire council." One said, "They must be punished," said another. Sarath raised a clawed hand. "They are not a threat yet. But their ship—" "Yes," Sarath interrupted. "Their ship is powerful. But they are only one vessel. If we strike now, the galaxy will call it justice." He turned toward the window where the human warship floated quietly, its black hull shining against the stars. Prepare our fleets. If the humans refuse again, destroy their ship. Meanwhile, on the HSS Resolute, the crew detected strange energy readings. Commander Reyes looked up from his screen. Admiral, Vorlon cruisers are moving into attack formation. Ward's expression didn't change. Have they hailed us? No, ma'am. Their communications are silent. Dr. Trent frowned. They wouldn't dare attack inside summit space. Would they? Ward looked at him. Power doesn't care about rules when it feels challenged. The deck grew quiet. Then Ward said, prepare the ship for defense. But keep weapons cold. We'll let them make the first move. The crew moved quickly. Shield generators hummed softly. Energy conduits glowed along the walls. The great warship began to wake, but not fully, just enough to remind anyone watching that it was not helpless. Hours later, a message arrived from the Summit Council. It was short. Human delegation, you are requested to sign the treaty now. Refusal will be seen as an act of hostility. Ward read it twice, then looked up at her officers. They've already decided the outcome. Dr. Trent asked quietly, what should we do? Ward stood, her voice steady. We do what humans have always done when faced with a choice between chains and danger. She walked to the center console and began to record a transmission. Her voice was calm, powerful, and clear. To the Galactic Council, humanity seeks peace, not submission. We will not join any order that rules through fear. We stand with those who wish to be free. She sent it. The message spread instantly, copied across thousands of channels. Commander Reyes smiled faintly. That'll make history books, ma'am, Ward replied softly. Only if we survive it. Minutes later, sensors blared an alarm. Multiple Vorlon ships breaking formation, shouted an officer. They're charging weapons. Ward's tone turned sharp but calm. Raise shields. Keep targeting systems locked, but do not fire. Outside, the stars filled with light as energy beams crossed space, but they were warning shots, not direct hits. The Vorlons wanted to scare them. Ward stood firm on the command deck, eyes cold. They're trying to make us retreat, she said quietly. They want the galaxy to see us run. Dr. Trent swallowed. So what do we do? Ward looked out at the enemy ships, their weapons glowing brighter. Then she gave a single command. Hold position. The HSS Resolute stayed where it was, still, silent and unshaken. To every watching eye, it was a single black mountain standing before a storm. And deep in her heart, Admiral Ward knew the truth. The Vorlons had chosen fear over peace. They wanted diplomacy, but soon, they would learn what humanity's warship was really built for. The silence of space was deceptive. The black hull of the HSS Resolute floated in orbit above Harmony Spire, perfectly still. Outside, the Vorlon warships gleamed like knives, their weapons powered and ready. Every alien in the chamber believed they were in control. They were wrong. Inside the ship, Admiral Helena Ward moved quietly from station to station. Each officer reported their status, each system humming in perfect synchronization. Shields were at full strength. Targeting arrays were ready. The energy cannons slept quietly, like predators waiting for the hunt. Ward's eyes rested on the stars beyond the glass. They think they can intimidate us, she said softly. But fear is a poor weapon against someone who understands it. Commander Reyes nodded. Ma'am, the Vorlons are moving faster than we expected. If they fire, the summit could be destroyed. Ward did not answer immediately. Instead, she activated the ship's tactical display. A three-dimensional map of the station and the surrounding fleets appeared. Red dots moved like angry fireflies, the Vorlon ships. Blue dots marked the positions of minor fleets, loyal and neutral alike, all under Vorlon influence. They've counted on fear to make everyone obey, Ward said at last. But humanity doesn't follow fear. We answer it. We face it. Dr. Elias Trent, the ambassador, shifted uneasily. Admiral, if they fire, even one shot near the summit will cause chaos. Millions could die. Ward's gaze sharpened. We will not allow them to fire. Not unless we are forced. The first warning came as a soft hum in the space outside. Sensors picked it up almost immediately. Energy spikes pulsed in the black void, growing stronger by the second. Multiple Vorlon cruisers have targeted the summit, reported Reyes. They're aligning weapons for long-range fire. Ward stood straighter, her hands resting lightly on the edge of the console. Keep all shields raised. Send a warning transmission to the council. A short burst of static passed through the communications array. Then Ward's voice rang out clearly, calm and firm. "Vorlands, this is Admiral Helena Ward of the HSS Resolute. Lower your weapons. Any attack on the summit will be seen as an act of war. Humanity seeks peace, but we will not allow harm to come to innocent delegates." The transmission repeated across multiple channels. Even small alien worlds received it, and across the galaxy whispers began. Humans are refusing to bow. For the Vorlands, the message was a spark in dry kindling. Their leader, Chancellor Sarath, ground his teeth in anger. He turned to his fleet commanders. "Do not listen to them," he said sharply. "Fire warning shots. Show them the cost of disobedience." Seconds later, bright energy beams streaked across space. They struck the empty void near the summit, illuminating the black hull of the HSS Resolute with flashes of red and gold. The human crew held their positions. The ship's shields flared, absorbing every impact. Sensors measured the weapon's energy output, revealing precise but overconfident calculations. "They think we will run," Ward said quietly, "but no one runs from what they protect." One officer, a young navigator, asked nervously, "Admiral, should we return fire?" Ward shook her head. "Not yet. Let them make the first mistake. Let them show the galaxy who they really are," Dr. Trent whispered. "They're testing us, seeing if we will break." Ward's eyes glinted. "Let them watch. Fear is contagious, yes, but courage spreads faster." Outside, Vorlan cruisers continued to harass the summit, moving in tight formations. They fired long-range volleys, attempting to intimidate the humans without hitting the summit directly. But the HSS Resolute moved differently. Its black hull glided silently, repositioning with precision no alien fleet had ever expected. Every human on board worked in perfect synchronization. Pilots, engineers, gunners, even the AI assisting the ship. Ward stood at the central command console, her voice low but commanding. "Adjust shields to deflect vectors from the left. Divert power to the forward emitters. Keep the weapons cold but tracking. Let's see their next move." The crew followed instantly. Energy shields adjusted automatically, power flowed seamlessly, and sensors tracked every Vorlan ship. Then the real warning came. A Vorlan cruiser advanced toward the summit, its cannons glowing ominously. It fired a shot, a long-range pulse of energy meant to destroy the station's outer hull. The shot struck, but not the summit. Instead, it hit a decoy shield generated by the Resolute, diverting the energy harmlessly into space. The Vorlans blinked in surprise. Their calculations had been flawless until now. Ward smiled faintly. "They're learning." Too late. Reyes leaned over her console. "That was clever, ma'am." "They'll be cautious now." Ward shook her head. "They will try again. Fear is their first weapon, but we have patience, and humanity has skill." The crew of the HSS Resolute moved like a single organism. The engineers diverted power to the shield grids, reinforcing them against volleys. The weapons officers targeted Vorlan control systems not to destroy the ships, but to disable their energy links and sensors. Ward's strategy was simple. Show power without unnecessary destruction. The galaxy needed to see humans as strong, not cruel. In the Vorlan fleet, the leaders whispered among themselves. "This ship is different," said one officer. "They are not afraid." "Impossible," another replied. "No species can stand before our fleet alone." But the first officer shook his head. "They are human, and they are not alone. Look at their precision." Ward's calm voice cut through the tension on the Resolute. "Prepare a second transmission. This one goes to every world watching." The crew obeyed. Dr. Trent carefully worded the message. "To every species in the galaxy, humanity seeks peace, but we will not bow to fear. Any attack on delegates or civilians will be met with firm resistance. We protect life, but we will not yield to tyranny. Witness the truth." The message spread instantly, transmitted across multiple channels. Small systems, colonies, and isolated worlds began to tremble in hope. Whispers of humanity's courage reached miners, farmers, and explorers who had never dared to speak. Ward turned from the console. "Now we wait, but remain ready. They will test us further." Minutes passed. Then sensors detected subtle shifts. Vorlan ships began moving differently, almost cautiously. Their once perfect formation was now fractured. They were calculating, adjusting, unsure. Reyes observed silently. "They're hesitant now. Your warning worked, ma'am. Ward shook her head slowly. No, we didn't warn them. We showed them reality. The galaxy is watching. If we falter, they will strike again. But if we remain steady, hope grows. Dr. Trent smiled faintly. Even their allies must see it. Ward nodded. Yes, even their allies see it. That is why we do not fire first. But make no mistake, the moment they cross the line, they will regret it. By the end of the day, the Vorlan fleet retreated slightly, still menacing but cautious. The humans' calm, precise strength had forced hesitation. Ward's crew exhaled silently, tension fading but never gone. They had survived the first real test. They had shown the galaxy that humans could stand against overwhelming odds and remain disciplined. Ward walked to the viewing window. The summit station glimmered in the starshine, a fragile jewel surrounded by potential chaos. She whispered softly to herself, "We did not fight yet, but they know we will." Outside, stars stretched endlessly, and for the first time, many small species dared to imagine a future without fear of the Vorlans. Inside the HSS Resolute, Admiral Ward already planned the next move. Peace could be protected without starting war, but the galaxy would soon see that humans do not run from threats. They faced them calmly, wisely, and with unmatched courage. The calm of space shattered. The Vorlans had made their choice. Warning shots were no longer enough. One of their cruisers suddenly surged forward, weapons fully charged, aiming straight at the summit station. Admiral Helena Ward stood on the bridge of the HSS Resolute, watching the screens. The ship hummed with energy, quiet but deadly. Her crew, trained for years, waited for her command. Raise shields to maximum. Divert power to forward emitters, she ordered. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight. Every officer obeyed instantly. Outside, the summit station shivered as energy pulses struck its defenses. Minor shields flared, absorbing damage, while the humans' warship remained untouched, a black sentinel between the Vorlans and the innocent. Commander Reyes reported, "They're trying to force the summit's hand. They want us to retreat." Ward shook her head slowly. "We will not retreat. Humanity protects life, even in the face of overwhelming force." The first human move was precise, almost surgical. The HSS Resolute fired small, controlled energy pulses, not at the Vorlan ship's hulls, but at their sensor arrays and weapon targeting systems. Within seconds, one cruiser's weapons went dark. Another lost communication with its fleet. The Vorlans had expected fire, but not this level of precision. Their calculations were flawless until they faced humans who used brains and courage, not just brute force. One Vorlan officer stammered, "Impossible. One ship cannot." Sarath hissed, "It can. It can." The Vorlan fleet faltered. Confusion spread as their carefully coordinated formation collapsed. Every move they made was countered by human tactics. Every human decision seemed to anticipate theirs. Inside the bridge, Dr. Elias Trent whispered almost to himself, "They underestimated us." Badly. Ward's eyes were sharp. Never underestimate humans. Never. That is lesson number 1 for every species. Outside, the black hull of the Resolute moved like a shadow, gliding between enemy ships. Its energy cannon struck with precision, not to destroy life, but to disable control systems. The Vorlan's fear became clear. One misstep, and their fleet could fall into chaos. The galaxy was watching. Even distant worlds could see it. A single human ship standing against an entire fleet, protecting the innocent and using strength wisely. This was humanity at its best. Strong, smart, unyielding, and disciplined. The Vorlans tried to regroup. Their leader, Chancellor Sarath, growled in frustration. "Focus on the summit. Target the human ship first." One cruiser surged forward, firing a heavy energy beam directly at the Resolute. Ward's hands moved calmly across the control panel. Divert power to lateral shields. Fire counterpulses to intercept the beam. The energy beam hit the shields, dispersing into harmless fragments. The Vorlan cruiser rocked back, stunned. Crew inside scrambled, unsure how one ship could survive such a strike. Ward's voice cut through the tension on the bridge. "Prepare the secondary system. Ready to disable their propulsion if necessary, but do not fire lethal rounds. We protect life, not destroy it." Her crew moved as one. Engineers, weapons officers, navigators. They acted with precision, knowing exactly what was needed. From the summit station, delegates watched in awe and disbelief. Most species had never seen such control, such courage. Many began to murmur among themselves, "Humans, they are different." Even the smaller, weaker species, once silent and fearful, dared to hope. If one human ship could face an entire Vorlon fleet, maybe the galaxy was not destined to bow to the powerful. Back on the Resolute, Ward gave another command. Fire a warning pulse at the Vorlon flagship. A controlled blast struck the Vorlon flagship's control tower, not to destroy, but to knock out its communications. The flagship went silent. Confusion spread across the Vorlon fleet. Orders were delayed, weapons misfired, shields faltered. Sarath's face turned pale beneath his silver scales. How can one ship? Ward's calm voice answered without her speaking. Discipline, courage, and skill. The turning point came when Ward gave the boldest command yet. Bring the ship closer to the Vorlon flagship, she said. Engage Maneuver Protocol Delta. Prepare for full defensive sweep. Reyes raised an eyebrow. Admiral, closing in could provoke full-scale attack. Ward's eyes narrowed slightly. Then let them attack. They underestimate us again. They will learn. The HSS Resolute glided forward, its black hull slicing through space. Vorlon cannons fired in desperation, but every shot was intercepted by shields or counterpulses. In minutes, the human ship was so close that the Vorlon flagship could see it clearly, sleek, black, silent, and utterly controlled. The sight alone caused doubt among the Vorlon officers. Could one ship truly stand against them all? Could these humans, young and inexperienced in galactic politics, really possess the skill to challenge centuries of Vorlon dominance? The answer, Ward knew, was already written. Inside the human ship, Ward issued the final warning before action could escalate. Vorlons, this is your last chance, she transmitted. Stand down. Leave the summit and retreat. Humanity seeks peace, not destruction. But if you fire again, we will respond, and we will not hold back. Her message was clear, calm, unwavering. For a moment, silence filled space. Even the Vorlon flagship hesitated. Then, with a flicker of hesitation across their fleet, the Vorlons slowly began to pull back. Their formations wavered. The energy beam slowed. It was not surrender. It was recognition. Humans were not to be underestimated. From the summit station, whispers turned to awe. Delegates who had once trembled now dared to speak openly. The humans. They saved the summit. The smaller species, those who had mined for the Vorlons or served their armies unwillingly, dared to hope that perhaps freedom was possible. Ward looked out at the black expanse of space. This is only the beginning, she said softly. But the galaxy now knows humanity does not bow. Humanity does not run, and humanity will protect those who cannot protect themselves. Dr. Trent, standing beside her, whispered, Admiral, they won't forget this. Ward gave a small smile. No. And that is exactly what they need to remember. As the HSS Resolute returned to orbit around Harmony Spire, shields still active and weapons ready, Ward addressed her crew. Today, we did not fight to destroy, she said. We fought to defend. We fought to show the galaxy what humans are capable of. Every one of you acted perfectly. I am proud, the crew nodded silently. Pride filled the room, tempered by the knowledge that the battle had only been a warning. Reyes spoke up. Admiral, will they try again? Ward's gaze hardened. Yes, and next time we may not be so gentle. But for now, the message is clear. Humanity is strong. Humanity is wise. Humanity will not be intimidated. Far in the Vorlon fleet, Chancellor Sarath seethed. His powerful fleet had been humiliated by one single ship, and his advisors whispered nervously. This cannot continue, one said. Sarath's tail lashed in frustration. No, but we must learn. The humans, they are not what we expected, and we must treat them with care. Care. A word the Vorlons had never used when facing a new species. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had shown it. By the time the summit reconvened, the mood had shifted entirely. No one dared speak against the humans openly. No one mocked them. Admiral Ward stood silently at her station, her expression calm. The HSS Resolute rested in orbit, a silent sentinel above the summit. The Vorlons had learned a crucial lesson. Diplomacy with humanity was not about fear. It was about respect and strength, and in the quiet of the stars one truth echoed. When humans protect peace, they are unstoppable. The stars were quiet that morning, though the tension of the previous day lingered in the air. The summit hall of Harmony Spire seemed brighter, calmer, but the weight of what had happened could not be ignored. Delegates whispered quietly among themselves, eyes constantly shifting toward the black silhouette of the HSS Resolute hovering above in orbit. Admiral Helena Ward stood on the deck of her ship, looking down at the summit station. The battle, or rather the demonstration of human skill and resolve, had ended without a single life lost. But the message had reached the galaxy loud and clear. Humans did not yield to fear. Humans protected those who could not protect themselves. Dr. Elias Trent, standing beside her, spoke softly. "Admiral, I've never seen so many species change their minds in one day." Ward allowed herself a small smile. They didn't change their minds. They finally saw the truth. Humans are not here to conquer. We are here to ensure freedom and fairness. Reyes, the commander, leaned against the console. "Do you think the Vorlons understand that?" Ward's eyes narrowed slightly. "They understand strength. Whether they understand justice, that remains to be seen, but they will think twice before challenging humanity again." Back inside the summit hall, Chancellor Sarath of the Vorlons faced the delegates. His golden eyes, once proud and certain, now darted nervously. The Vorlon fleet had withdrawn slightly, leaving a clear space between themselves and the summit station. "Delegates," he began, his voice unusually restrained. "The humans have demonstrated capability. They have chosen to defend the summit, and in doing so they have protected us all." Some delegates exchanged glances. A few small species muttered quietly, relief in their voices. But others, long oppressed or timid under Vorlon authority, felt something more profound: hope. One of the smallest delegates, Tavar, from the insectoid planet Verak, spoke up. Perhaps we have underestimated humans." The hall fell silent. Ward had shown the galaxy that even one species, acting with skill and courage, could stand against centuries of oppression. Admiral Ward was summoned to the summit chamber. Her team entered calmly, walking among aliens who had only yesterday doubted their strength. The Vorlons had expected defiance, maybe even submission, but the humans neither bowed nor threatened. They walked with the quiet confidence of one who knew the value of life and the necessity of action. Chancellor Sarath rose to meet her. "Admiral Ward," he said cautiously, "you have impressed the Council." Ward gave a polite nod. "Thank you, Chancellor. We are here to protect peace. Nothing more. Nothing less." He hesitated, then said, "The Vorlon Treaty, it must be reconsidered. Humanity refuses to sign under current terms." Ward's expression did not change. "The current terms give power to one side only. That is not peace. That is control." Sarath's scales shimmered under the light. "Perhaps a new treaty can be drafted, one that honors all species, not just the Vorlons." Ward's eyes flicked toward the smaller delegates. They nodded ever so slightly, hope glimmering. "Then let us do so. The galaxy deserves fairness." Back aboard the HSS Resolute, Ward held a private meeting with her crew. Maps of the galaxy floated before them in holographic form. "Today we protected the summit without starting a war," she said. "But tomorrow, we will continue to protect freedom wherever it is threatened. Humanity must be the shield, not the sword, unless necessary." Dr. Trent smiled. "Admiral, the galaxy has seen humans act with discipline, strength, and wisdom." "They will remember it," Ward nodded. "Yes, they will remember it. And that memory will allow others to choose freedom rather than fear." Reyes leaned forward. "And the Vorlons? Do you trust them to change?" Ward's gaze hardened slightly. "Trust is earned. But the galaxy now knows the limits of power. That is sometimes more important than trust." Word of humanity's actions spread across hundreds of systems. Starbases, colonies, and minor planets transmitted news of the HSS Resolute, standing alone against a powerful fleet, defending life rather than attacking. On worlds long oppressed by Vorlon rule, miners stopped their work, looking up at the stars with hope. Farmers paused, remembering that one day their children could grow up without fear. Scientists in hidden labs whispered quietly, "Perhaps the galaxy can change." Humanity had become more than a species. They were a symbol, and symbols have power beyond fleets or weapons. The summit reconvened with a new purpose. This time, delegates did not whisper nervously. They spoke boldly, openly advocating fairness, equality, and mutual respect. Ward and her team listened quietly, never interrupting. They allowed the galaxy to speak for itself. Finally, Chancellor Sarath addressed the assembly. "The Vorlan Treaty will be revised," he said slowly. "The terms must ensure that all species have equal standing. No longer will one race dominate another, and humans will oversee the process to guarantee fairness." A wave of murmurs filled the hall. Hope became audible. The smallest species, once silenced by fear, dared to speak. Ward's face remained calm, but inside she felt the quiet satisfaction of a mission accomplished. Diplomacy had triumphed because humans stood firm. Strength had been the tool of peace. After the summit concluded, Ward returned to the bridge of the HSS Resolute. She gazed out at the stars stretching endlessly, glittering like scattered diamonds. Dr. Trent joined her. "Admiral, humanity has changed the galaxy today, maybe forever." Ward's gaze did not leave the stars. "No, Dr. Trent, we have only begun. Peace is not a single moment. It is a constant effort, and humanity will continue to protect it wherever it is threatened." Reyes approached quietly. "Do you think they will try again? The Vorlans?" Ward smiled faintly. "They may try, but they will think twice. Humanity has shown the galaxy that we are not to be underestimated. That is the lesson every species now carries." Back on distant worlds, news of the human stand inspired change. Leaders of smaller systems began to question their alliances. Colonies began organizing trade and communication networks independent of the Vorlans. And most importantly, oppressed peoples began to believe in themselves, in their ability to resist tyranny without waiting for others to act. On Verak, Tavar spoke openly at the local council. "If humans can stand alone and defend the weak, then we too can claim our freedom." The message spread faster than any fleet could travel. Humanity had not conquered. Humanity had not demanded loyalty. Humanity had simply shown courage and justice, and the galaxy had remembered. Back on the HSS Resolute, Ward and her officers prepared to leave orbit. The summit station shone beneath them, safe and unharmed. Before departure, Ward transmitted a final message to all delegates. "The galaxy is vast and full of challenges. Today we have chosen fairness over fear. Humanity will continue to defend peace wherever it is threatened. To every species seeking freedom, do not despair. You are not alone. The future belongs to those who act with courage, wisdom, and unity." The message echoed across space. Every world, small and large, heard it. And in every heart, hope flickered brighter than ever before. As the HSS Resolute departed, Ward stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. Reyes said softly, "Admiral, the galaxy will remember today." Ward nodded. "They will. And they will remember what humans stand for: courage, discipline, and the protection of those who cannot protect themselves. That is what it means to be human." Dr. Trent smiled faintly. "A new order, then?" Ward's eyes gleamed with quiet determination. "Yes, a new order. One where peace is defended, justice is valued, and strength is used wisely. Humanity has begun a new chapter for the galaxy." The Vorlans watched from afar, their pride wounded but their respect earned. Other species looked on, inspired, emboldened. Across the stars, whispers spread. When humans act, they act for justice. When humans protect, they protect with skill and courage. And when humans stand, no one should doubt them. The HSS Resolute glided through the void, silent and black, a symbol of hope and determination. And for the first time, the galaxy felt something rare: true balance, true courage, true humanity.